بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين.
Peace be upon all our viewers. We have returned with a new episode about a near-death experience, a very interesting one. Before we begin, I want to give a disclaimer. Most people who've experienced this phenomenon don't want to be seen or speak about it openly. Many fear they won't be believed, that their words will be dismissed as delusions or dreams. We've tried hard to convince them to share their stories. Some agreed to appear on camera. Others refused. We respect their wishes entirely. Our goal isn't to exploit, but to learn. So we've recorded voices, gathered fragments, some from those living abroad, their distance making their testimonies harder to reach. Abu Fazl is one of those who chose to remain hidden. He didn't want his face shown, and we honored that. Abu Fazl's journey is unlike anything we've documented before. What began as ordinary dreams soon unfolded into visions of staggering depth, divine messages, realms beyond life, and truths no mortal eye should witness. Yet he insists, they were only dreams. But how could mere dreams carry such weight? It started with the prophets, peace be upon them all, each asking him the same haunting question. Then came the fire of hell, vivid enough to sear his waking hours. Later, the grave swallowed him in sleep. He walked Barzak's shadowed plains, stood trembling on the day of judgment, and finally glimpsed paradise. These weren't fragments, they were journeys, detailed, relentless, and terrifyingly precise. Out of respect for their gravity, we'll share his account slowly, episode by episode. Listen carefully, reflect deeply. May we all benefit, inshallah.
Peace be upon anyone who listens to this message, and I ask you to make dua for me that Allah forgives me. I want to say that before seeing most of these dreams, I wasn't aware of any details about my religion. I only knew very basic stuff. After I repented and started praying, then tried to learn my religion, I found out most of what I saw and all my experiences are already mentioned in the Quran or Hadith. I'll start with the first dream that began my experiences. It was a dream with Prophet Noah, peace be upon him. The dream started when I was walking in a desert and saw a man. I don't even know why I asked the man, "Have you heard anybody say that he is a prophet of God?" He said, "There is a man among us. When my father was dying, he said, 'Don't follow that man. He's crazy and will put you in darkness.'" I asked, "What is his name?" At that time, I didn't know anything about Prophet Noah or his story at all. He said, "His name is Noah, and he is a madman. We don't have much rain here throughout the year, and now he's saying there is a storm coming and very strong rainfall that will drown you all, and it is a punishment from God." I said, "Where is he? I want to see him." But I will say that I always believed in God and the messengers. I knew that he is the messenger of God, but I didn't know his story. He said, "Go straight, you will see the ship from the distance. It is huge." I went and I saw the ship. I could see the bottom was made, but the sides were still not finished. There were a lot of people who had made a circle around him and were watching him. I thought they were helping him build the ship, but when I got close, they were watching and mocking him. There were like 30 to 40 people with him that helped him build the ship, but I could tell clearly which one was Prophet Noah. He was older than everybody, but also stronger than all of them. He was carrying a log of wood like it was a small stick. I was standing with people around him. Everybody was mocking him, saying, "He's crazy, he's stupid, he's not with himself anymore." And they were trying to convince the people who were with him to leave him. While Prophet Noah was busy building, he passed near me and looked at me and said, "Abu Fazl, come closer." I was surprised how come he knows me. I moved toward him and we did a handshake. I said, "O Prophet Noah, aren't you a prophet of God?" He said, "Do you have doubt about my prophethood?" I said, "Not at all. But why don't you ask Allah to help you build the ship? How can this small number of people finish it?" Noah said, "I already asked him, and he said, 'I will send somebody from the last Ummah.' He described you and said you would believe that I am a prophet. That's why I called your name." I was shocked. He said, "Do you accept my prophethood?" I said, "Yes, of course." He said, "Okay then, go tell those people. I have been telling them day and night and they don't accept it. Then I went on a small wood and said, O people, this man is a prophet of God. The punishment he's warning you about is coming, and I'm from the last nation. And I was telling myself, how will these people believe me that I came from the last prophetic nation? Then somebody shouted, oh, he's gone crazy too. I was about to go and fight him. I was so mad that they were calling me crazy. He hasn't said anything bad. He's calling you to good, saying don't worship idols. Why is he mad? They were calling me to go far away from him. He's a magician. He made me crazy. When Noah was talking, they were putting their fingers inside their ears. They were looking at me when I was talking, then turned their faces. It was like they didn't look at you like a human being. I was shocked and thought how hard it must have been for the prophet to preach. And now when I tell people to talk about Islam, they say nobody listens. Man, nobody has said anything bad to you or fought you. You haven't been through anything, just preach. Just think how hard it has been for them. We were preaching day and night. I have counted 40 nights of preaching in that situation. I wasn't helping with the ship. My job was preaching and talking to the people. Nobody was listening. All of a sudden, a very black cloud came from a distance. The ship was ready at that time. It was like night was coming. Prophet Noah said, all the believers come to the ship. The punishment is coming. We were heading to the ship when I saw one person separated and moved away. He didn't come toward the ship. I saw Prophet Noah following him too, so I decided to follow them. When I got close, I heard him saying, my son, come, where are you going? He was moving up to the mountain and talking to Prophet Noah. When I arrived, I heard his son saying, Father, the people are right when they say you're crazy. You've actually lost your mind. How much rain will fall? I'm staying up here. Let's see how your God can drown me. You say this mountain will be underwater? How can you believe that? It doesn't make any rational sense. Prophet Noah was saying, my son, how can you say that? If God wills it, he can just vanish everything in a blink of an eye. Drowning a mountain is nothing for God. He tried everything to convince him to come back with us. Something came in my heart and I held Prophet Noah's hand and said, "O Noah, he will not be a believer. Let's go back." He said, "How do you know?" I said, "I came from the last nation. I know." We went back to the ship and went in. It became night because of the cloud and it started raining so hard. Water was coming out from the ground and lightning strikes and sounds. It was horrific. Even though I knew he was a prophet, I was afraid that we would drown too. There was a small opening where you could see outside. I feel like it took 2 weeks of rainfall. While I was looking out from the opening, I felt like we were in the Atlantic Ocean. There wasn't any land. Everything had been drowned. No rocks, no mountains, no trees, nothing. There were only bodies of humans and animals. 2 weeks passed, and Prophet Noah, peace be upon him, was teaching the people, advising them to be submissive to God and do everything they could, otherwise God could destroy them just like he destroyed those people. Then we saw the sun coming out again, but everything was still water. Slowly the water level decreased and we could feel the ship gradually stopping. Then the door opened and we came out. Water still surrounded us, but we were on top of a mountain. We could see the water slowly going down. Everybody came out and prostrated to God and thanks for being saved. Prophet Noah, peace be upon him, held my hand. He said, "Abu Fazl, why don't you pray?" Oh, I felt so much shame, so much shame. I said, "Oh, Prophet Noah, it's all laziness." He said, "Don't you believe in Allah?" I replied, "Yes, of course I believe in God." He said, "Haven't you seen what happened to my people? You tried to warn them, but they didn't listen to you. What are you waiting for? Don't you know that if you die like this, you will be punished?" He said, "Do your prayer, do it, okay?" I replied, yes, I promise I will do my prayer." But when I woke up, nothing happened. I told myself, oh, what a dream I saw, and I didn't care. I kept living the same way, nothing changed for me. I thought it was just a dream. Then time passed about 1 or 2 months, and I had another dream.
My dream starts as I'm in an arena. Those arenas from Roman times, full of people. I was sitting in the audience too, just like in the movies. There was a man with a long beard inside the arena. He had a wooden staff in his hand, standing on one side. On the other side was a Roman soldier with a 2-wheeled carriage and a horse. I wondered what was going on and asked somebody next to me, "Hey, what's happening here?" He said, "Do you see that man with the long beard? He is Jesus, son of Mary. The other one is a Roman soldier." I asked, "What are they trying to do?" He explained, his mother disappeared, and when she came back, she had a baby. And truthfully, he spoke from the cradle, saying he's a prophet of God. Because of this, people left his mother alone. Now he preaches about one God, claiming he receives revelations. They're testing him. With just his staff, he must fight the man with the carriage. If he's truthful, his God must help him defeat the other. If he loses, he's lying. I stared at Prophet Jesus, peace be upon him, when suddenly he looked at me and shouted, "Abu Fazl, come here!" Immediately I stood before him. Nobody saw me. I asked, "Oh Jesus, aren't you a prophet of God?" The same question I asked Prophet Noah. I don't know why I asked this, it wasn't in my control. He replied, "Do you doubt my prophethood?" I said, "No, I'm certain you're God's prophet." I told him, "These people want proof. Why don't you ask God for help?" He said, "I already asked. Allah answered he would send a man from the final prophet's nation named Abu Fazl to advise me. So tell me, what should I do?" I said, "Oh Jesus, in our time we have carriages. If you jam your staff in the wheel, it will stop. When the carriage charges, lay down and wedge your staff in the wheel." Suddenly, I was back in the audience. Nobody noticed me. The carriage charged. At the last moment, Jesus laid down and jammed his staff in the wheel. The carriage stopped, flipped over, sending the Roman flying through the air to his death. The crowd rose, cheering, "He is God's prophet. His God helped him defeat the other." Everyone rushed to embrace Jesus. I approached too, proud of helping him. But he shamed me. "Abu Fazl, why don't you pray? Why? You don't fulfill your duties to Allah. Anyone from the final nation following Prophet Muhammad's path is loved by God like a prophet. You don't know your worth in Allah's eyes." I forgot to mention, Prophet Noah said the exact same words. He continued, "Pray properly. Do it perfectly." I promised, "I'll start tomorrow, I swear." But again, nothing changed. I dismissed it as just a dream. Though I remembered these dreams clearly, I kept postponing. Not today, tomorrow. I'm still young. After I quit this sin. When I'm ready. This was Satan's trick to keep me from Allah. I remained like this until I had another dream. I was walking in a beautiful garden, never expecting to reach a desert. I hadn't brought any fruits or water. All of a sudden, I reached a desert and it got really hot and dry. I was about to die from thirst. "Please, God, help me. I'm dying." I saw 4 people digging a grave. They were dressed in white thobes from top to bottom and had a bag of apples next to them. The apples looked really beautiful. You could see how tasty and watery they were. I got closer to them and said, "Hi." They answered my greeting, and I said, "Can you please give me an apple? I'm about to die from thirst." One of them said, "Sure, we will give you an apple, but under one condition." I said, "What condition?" "We are about to bury a body of a man here. He is a very honorable and respected guy. We're ashamed to put him in the grave. Every time we see if the grave is good proportion, and he has a height just like you, just go down to the grave while you're eating your apple. We will measure you, and we can dig a very good grave." I said to them, "By Allah, I don't know why I said that." I told them, "Do you want to kill me just like you killed Musa?" I don't know why I said that with no reason. Out of thirst, I was trying to take apples from them. One of them grabbed me and put me away. He said, "This is the rule. If you want apple, you have to go to the grave." He said, "Why are you scared? We just want to measure it, that's it." I don't know why, but I was afraid to go in because I knew I had a lot of sin on my shoulder, and I was thinking, what if I go in and die? What to do then? I tried to grab the apples again, and they were pushing me away. I was trying to get one when all of a sudden somebody put his hand on my shoulder, and I got frozen. I looked at him. He was an old man with a long beard and totally white. He had a staff in his hand, and it was tall as his height. He said, "What is going on here? What are you arguing about?" I said, "They think I'm crazy." He said, "Why?" I said, "They want me to go in a grave for an apple. Any mad person would do that. I'm just thirsty. Just give one apple, that's it." One of the men digging the grave said, "This is the rule. We only give the apple to the person who goes in. It doesn't matter who goes in, we will give the apple to that person." He went into the grave and laid down. He gave me his staff. I told him, "Don't go, man, don't go, you'll die." And he said, "So what if it's my time? Let it be." He went in and lay down. One of the 4 men grabbed the staff from my hand and told the old man to keep it with him. He also grabbed an apple and gave it to him. The grave was perfectly his size. He fit in it. They told him, "While you eat your apple, we will measure the size." Believe me, once he bit the apple, his eyes closed. He died right away. Once he closed his eyes, they started to put soil on top of him. I said, "You killed the man." I was trying to grab the shovel from them, but I couldn't. They continued to bury him. They filled up the grave, and there wasn't any sign of the grave anymore. I didn't know where they buried him, and they left. I was wondering, where did they bury the man? One of them said while they were leaving, "Israel, let me tell something to this man." He got close to me, and I couldn't see their face because of the scarf they were putting on their face. It was also another reason that I was scared of them. He asked, "Did you know who that man we buried?" I said, "No, I don't." He said, "That was Moses. If you could decide to go into the grave, you would have been raised again on Judgment Day with him. You lost that blessing. Go do your prayer, man. What are you waiting for, man? He was a leader of a nation. He died. He was a prophet of God. He died. What are you waiting for?" I said, "Okay, but if he's a prophet, why did you bury him here in this desert?" He said, "You don't know. His nation is corrupted. If they know where his grave is, they will worship him. We got instructed by Allah to bury him here without anyone knowing it." I woke up from the dream. Same thing. I told myself, I will start praying, not today, but tomorrow. I forgot about it, too. I thought it was just a dream, just like the other ones. After a while, another night I saw another dream. It started near a village or a town. I could see the Kaaba.
The Kaaba was taller than all the other buildings around it. You could see its dominance. Once I saw the Kaaba and the city around it, I told myself, this is a dream, and this city is Mecca. I have to see the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. It was weird. Without hesitation, I went to the town and saw a man on the way. I asked him, "Isn't there a man who claims to be a prophet?" He said, "Shh, shh. If the Quraysh hear you, they will kill you. It is dangerous." I said, "Why?" He said, "There was a man among us. He was a very good man. No one knew anything but good about him. We even used to call him Muhammad the Trustworthy." I got happy and told myself, thank God he is here. I said to the man, "Just give me the address, please. Show me his house." He said, "Sir, if the Quraysh know about it, they will kill me." I told him, "I don't know you. Even if they catch me, I don't even know your name. I can't tell them who you are." He said, "That's true. The weird thing is, even in his speech, he referred to Allah. He said, 'Wallahi, you are right.' It made me amazed. And then he said, 'Give me some money, I will tell you.' I took out a coin from my pocket and didn't check what it was. I gave it to him, and he took me and pointed to a house. He said, 'Do you see that house? There is a boy in front of the door. That is Al-Arkam's house. Muhammad and his friends are gathering there. You can go there.' And I rushed to the house. There was a young man beside the door. I said, 'I came here to see the Prophet of Allah.' He looked at me and said, 'Are you a Muslim?' I said, 'Yes.' And he said, 'Say the Shahada.' I said it to him, and he said, 'You can go in.' Once I went in, it wasn't a very big room. Somebody was saying the Azan or Iqama, and he was saying it so quietly you could barely hear it. They started to pray, and I went to the row with them. We finished the prayer. I think it was the Asr prayer. All of them sat down in their places, and 3 of them were facing the people when they sat down. I was at the back, trying to see those 3 persons in the front. I felt that one of them was Prophet Muhammad. He was in the middle. One of them was young, and the other one was old. I sat down too. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, looked at me. He said, "Abu Fazl, come to the front. Why are you sitting there?" I was so happy, they made a way for me to go. I went to him and sat close to him, knee to knee, and I put my hand in his. It was so warm, and I was so happy. It was so joyful. I felt his kindness and warmth. It was more than my mother's. He looked at me, welcomed me, and he said, "Abu Fazl,
Why don't you pray? Didn't you see what happened to Noah's nation? He told me all the other dreams one by one, what happened with Jesus, what happened with Moses. He reminded me one by one. Didn't you learn anything? Do you have to die and go to hell before you believe? Wallahi, it is the worst place and you can't handle it. I said, Wallahi, it is all laziness. Otherwise, I really want to pray. I believe without a doubt that there is hell and paradise, but it is all laziness. He said, don't say that. Once you get up, start with your prayer. You have to promise me that you will do it. I said, I promise, O Prophet of Allah, I will start right away. I was amazed by his face. It gave you calm and warmth. You feel like you don't want to go anywhere. All of a sudden, somebody came in. All the Quraysh have come together and they want to kill you. The old guy next to him got up. He said, Ya Rasulullah, let me go and fight them. He said, sit down. Then the younger guy on the other side got up. He said, let me go, O Prophet of Allah. He said, sit down. Then he said, Abu Fazl, do you know them? I said, no, I don't. He pointed to the old guy and said, this is Abu Bakr. Then he pointed to the other and said, and this is Omar. He had a sword. He said, this is Ali's sword. He is not here. Take it and fight like Omar. I said, O Prophet, they are too many and I'm alone. He said, O Abu Fazl, if the whole world were to come together, if Allah does not will it, nobody can do any harm to you. Have certainty and go. I went out. There were like 200 people coming. I got scared and didn't know what to do. I told myself, it's just a dream. Even if I get killed, I will wake up. I was also telling myself, if I get killed, I will be a shaheed. I was talking to myself, then I closed my eyes and went to them, starting to strike with my sword without opening my eyes. I could feel the sword was hitting stuff until I couldn't feel anything when I was swinging the sword. Then I opened my eyes with fear and I saw a bunch of people running away and there were a lot of bodies around me on the floor. I was telling myself, Subhanallah, Prophet Muhammad told me not to be scared. I don't even know how to hold and fight with a sword. Then I went back to the house and sat down with the Prophet again. He said, Abu Fazl, you saw it now. You know if God is with you, everything is easy and nobody can do any harm. Numbers don't matter. He was saying it with a conviction and certainty that could fill your heart with Iman. He was advising me about the prayer. He was so strict to make me pray. I was telling myself, why is it prayer? Why just prayer? Why doesn't he tell me about ethics or charity? Why just prayer? But then I understood, I have disconnected with God. Nothing else matters. I told him, for sure I will start doing it right away. And just like the other ones, it bothered me for a while. Then I forgot about it without starting to pray, just like the other times.